The story of Travis Scott is brought to you by Wix.
I'm 60 years old, it's my 60th birthday, and I'm supposed to know who Travis Scott is.
Travis Scott is hip-hop's newest superstar. He dropped the 5th biggest album of 2018. He has a kid with a billionaire businesswoman, and his public perception is unanimously positive. But where did he come from? Today I'm going to tell the story of Travis Scott. From his humble beginnings in Houston making beats, to his big break as a producer on Kanye's Cruel Summer in 2012, all the way to his appearance at the 2019 Super Bowl halftime show. Let's get into it. Travis Scott, whose real name is Jacques Webster, was born in Houston, Texas in 1992. Travis and his parents and his siblings lived with his grandmother in a small house on the southeast side of the city. It wasn't a great neighborhood. In a Rolling Stone interview, Travis talked about the crack-dealing neighbors stealing his lawnmower, among other bizarre happenings.
And I'm Brett Buffington live in southeast Houston tonight following breaking news. You can see the flashing lights behind me. This is Scott Street as locals have been taped off. Scott Street shut down.
Force aimed at stopping a decades-old problem, street racing. Officers say in recent months they've seen a rise in crashes, some of them deadly. Here's Chris Martinez.
But it wasn't all bad. When Travis was just 3 years old, his father started teaching him how to play the drums and the piano. One of his uncles was involved in the making of a platinum album, and his other uncle, Travis, plays bass. Travis Scott's grandfather was a jazz musician with a PhD in philosophy. It was the perfect recipe to create the superstar musician that Travis Scott would eventually become. During high school, Travis developed confidence and an entertaining presence by acting in plays. He also has a passion for film, and his favorite movie, The Breakfast Club, would be inspirational towards a lot of his early musical style. Travis listened to a lot of Bjork, Portishead, Kanye, and Kid Cudi. Travis graduated high school a year early, and he enrolled in the University of Texas at San Antonio. He was a good student, but he still wanted to pursue music full-time. In his sophomore year at college, he dropped out without telling his parents and went to New York City to make music. Travis used the money that his parents gave him for textbooks and food to buy plane tickets and studio time. He stayed with various producers and musicians while in New York City, sleeping on floors and couches and working late nights to get recognition from any sort of industry professional. But after 4 months, Travis felt he wasn't getting anywhere in the city. He went to LA with a friend, who after some difficulties left him with no contacts and no money. At the same time, Travis's parents paid him a surprise visit in San Antonio, only to find out he had dropped out months beforehand. They cut him off financially, turning his phone off and letting him know he wasn't welcome in their home anymore. Travis was broke and alone, without a cell phone, thousands of miles away from anyone he knew. The urgency to succeed was exactly what Travis needed. He started posting more and more music online, while he stayed at a friend's dorm at USC. Before long, he got an invite to visit T.I.'s studio, where T.I. told him that he loved Travis's sound and to keep working hard. Around the same time, Travis started making money off his beats, selling to different publishers around LA. He was living in a hotel room paid for by a generous A&R, and the pressure to find a stable living was increasing daily. While Travis was living in the hotel room, an audio engineer working with Kanye West called and asked Travis to hop on a plane and meet the rapper in New York City. Travis stayed in New York for the entire recording of 2012's Cruel Summer, and he ended up having a big part in the production of the record, all without having released a single mixtape. Due to trouble clearing samples and a general desire to capitalize on the success of Cruel Summer, Travis delayed the release of his debut mixtape, Owl Pharaoh, until the spring of 2013. as opposed to the original release date of late 2012. Thanks to the success of singles leading up to the mixtape and his production work on Cruel Summer, Travis was named one of the 2013 XXL Freshmen. His mixtape came out just 2 months later, and he was quickly recognized as a promising talent in the hip-hop scene. He was seen as a protege of Kanye West and the trap scene as a whole. Owl Pharaoh was dark, inconsistent Southern hip-hop, and it was made possible by a wide range of collaborators. Production credits on the mixtape include Travis himself, Mike Dean, Kanye West, and many more. Vocal features include Bon Iver, 2 Chainz, Meek Mill, and A$AP Ferg. Owl Pharaoh was nominated for Best Mixtape at the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards. Despite his success, Travis was in a difficult place after the release of Owl Pharaoh. There are lots of XXL freshmen that release one good mixtape or album, and then they fall off hard. I mean, take a look at the 2015 list. Besides Vince Staples, not a single rapper from that year is even slightly relevant in 2019. Regardless of why this happens to XXL freshmen, and it's probably because XXL is bad at picking rappers, there's always a lot of pressure on artists to come up with something great after they're suddenly thrown into the spotlight. It's hard to make sure that your second mixtape or album is more exciting and entertaining than the first. After all, you have 20 plus years to make your first mixtape, and only 1 year to make your second. But Travis blew everyone's expectations out of the water. He dropped Days Before Rodeo, his second mixtape, just a year after Owl Pharaoh. The mixtape was better developed, produced, and engineered than his first. Its production was still grimy and dark, but it didn't sound nearly as amateurish. Where Owl Pharaoh sounded somewhat tired and ragged, which I'm sure was influenced by Travis's living situation at the time, Days Before Rodeo is stylish and smooth. Even some fans consider it their favorite Travis project to this day. Days Before Rodeo saw a huge jump in the quality of his music, and it set Travis up as a rapper who was just personal enough to avoid destruction by old heads. Despite a few laid-back and autobiographical cuts, the mixtape used trap instrumentation to achieve a more broadly popular appeal. I think that even this early on in his career, Travis was a diverse and talented enough rapper that he could have explored a more lyrical or a more trap angle. But what helped him truly grow and move into the mainstream was a powerful mixture of both. Days Before Rodeo showed that Travis was a diverse artist with a lot of ideas and a good ear for popular aesthetics. Travis's next move on his rise to superstardom was his first studio album, Rodeo. Travis had been teasing Rodeo for a long time. Releasing Days Before Rodeo as a prequel mixtape was a great move for building hype. In the years following Rodeo, it became considered one of the best, if not the best, trap albums of all time. After years of experimentation and hard work, Travis finally found his sound. He may lack the technical, lyrical ability to stand among hip-hop's all-time greatest, but there's no doubt that Travis is a genius when it comes to creating moods and carrying a beat. Rodeo proved to fans that Travis wasn't going anywhere but up, even if it failed to convince critics that he was unique. Pitchfork criticized Rodeo harshly for being unoriginal. They called Travis a middling talent who couldn't keep up with his peers. But it had the opposite effect on fans. Rodeo created Travis Scott's cult fanbase. It's full of references to his youth, his hometown, and most of all, his newfound lifestyle of nihilistic luxury. I would say that Rodeo is almost like lyrical rap for someone whose lifestyle is dedicated to glorifying the excessive nature of trap music. The album is massive. Every moment of the record twists and turns around in an acidic, psychedelic landscape of sound. It's entirely possible that Travis and the trap music genre as a whole may never exceed the brilliant creativity of the cinematic masterpiece that is Rodeo. But Travis made a few missteps after his debut. He announced his third album, Astroworld, before his second album even came out. And when his second album, Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, finally dropped, a lot of critics didn't enjoy it that much. The album sold well, but it just didn't compare to Rodeo. Travis went through a heavy trap phase, and while the record produced a few hits, there weren't that many memorable lyrics compared to his previous record. Birds had a strong visual aesthetic, and Travis released an awesome short film alongside it. But where Rodeo and Astroworld are experimental and unique, Birds was kind of formulaic. After the relative disappointment that was Birds in the Trap, all eyes turned towards Astroworld, though the wait for it would be agonizingly long. Astroworld was to be named after a Houston theme park that closed down while Travis was still in high school. Travis talked about his reason for naming the album after a theme park in a 2018 interview. He said that Astroworld was the real sequel to Rodeo, and Birds in the Trap was something he felt inspired to make and had to get out of the way before he could focus on his true second album. The wait for Astroworld was dragged out even further when Travis announced a collab album with Quavo in late 2016. It wouldn't come out until late 2017, and Travis spent a lot of that year teasing both albums. The Quavo album turned out to be underwhelming, and it was by pure strength of hype that Travis's reputation remained untarnished after two somewhat disappointing albums. Fans were both frustrated and relieved when it was finally revealed that Astroworld was almost finished in July 2018. Astroworld is the most Travis Scott thing that Travis Scott has ever made. It's dark, psychedelic, and it has massive pop appeal. He collaborated with Tame Impala, Stevie Wonder, Frank Ocean, and many other musicians that are known for their unique styles. The record has a mature, expansive sound, and it doesn't really play by the rules of the 2018 hip-hop zeitgeist. Instead, it puts all of the rules together, and the result is much greater than the sum of its parts. Even the title of the album is a statement in itself. There's a never-ending party in Travis Scott's head, and he wants the real world to reflect that as well. Over the years, Travis has become known for his insane and even sometimes dangerous live shows. He was arrested for inciting a riot in 2017, when he told fans at a concert to rush the stage, causing several injuries, including that of a cop and a security guard. When it comes to Travis Scott, the party must go on no matter the cost. During the Birds in the Trap era, Travis used a giant bird prop to float over the crowd while he rapped, and for the Astroworld tour, he brings a roller coaster to each performance. Travis hosted an entire Astroworld-themed music festival in Houston last November, and he plans to do the same this year as well. From the shoes he designs with Nike to the action figure he used throughout the Rodeo era, Travis is overflowing with creativity. In a 2018 interview with Billboard, he revealed a passion for sculptures and pop art. In the future, Travis wants to score movies, study architecture, and of course, continue rapping. Unlike many of his peers, Travis is far from a controversial figure, especially now that he has a daughter and a girlfriend to think about. That's what gets Travis a spot performing at the Superbowl. That's what gets him on The Ellen Show to talk about Jamba Juice. He's just as much a savvy businessman as he is an artist. He knows that controversy won't help an artist, and he avoids it, unlike many clout rappers for whom controversy is the basis of their career. Travis's social media is full of cute pictures of him, his girlfriend, and their daughter Stormy. They paint a picture of wholesome family, becoming sort of spiritual successors to Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Blue Ivy. His girlfriend, by the way, has over 100 million followers on Instagram, and I'm sure Astroworld's performance was boosted quite a bit when she promoted it on the day of release. Perhaps Travis's proudest accomplishment yet was when the mayor of Houston declared November 18th Astroworld Day in the city. Travis looked overwhelmingly happy at the ceremony. I think as a whole, 2018 was the year that everything Travis has been working towards finally paid off. Even though a lot of his hardcore fans feel like his masterpiece came out in 2015, timeless music isn't the only important aspect of the Travis Scott brand. Travis gives back to the culture that made him. He creates intense concert experiences, unlike so many of today's rappers that have no idea how to put on a show. He's been known to give tens of thousands of dollars to fans, last year giving away $100,000 on Twitter, as well as donating $100,000 to a non-profit organization in Houston that gives kids access to technical and creative resources. One of the terms of Travis's 2019 Super Bowl halftime performance, was that the NFL donate $500,000 to a social justice charity. He even designed senior t-shirts for students at a high school in Houston. Travis knows the value of good PR, and he's used it much to his advantage, developing a positive for the kids reputation over the last couple of years. I can guarantee Travis wouldn't have ended up on Obama's favorite songs of 2017 list if he were running around getting arrested on petty crimes and beefing with everyone who looked at him wrong. Sicko Mode, Travis's first #1 single, is a psychedelic 5-minute journey featuring Drake. The song has 3 beat switches and no conventional song structure, and I think that's a good way to sum up what Travis stands for as a whole. Good PR skills, bizarre psychedelic energy, and a cautious fusion of current musical trends with his own grimy southern heritage. Travis's ambitions are huge. His creative vision is twisted yet colorful, and most importantly, he has a good sense for business. Travis Scott sits at the very edge of what mainstream music is capable of appreciating, and because of that, his art will undoubtedly outlast that of his peers. Good presentation is an essential part of any project or brand. No rapper, producer, or YouTuber has ever succeeded without an appealing professional presentation. An instrumental step in Travis Scott's rise to fame was a solid internet presence as a producer selling beats. That's why I want to talk about Wix, an extremely professional website builder that lets you customize your website in any way that you want. I personally just opened Volksgeist.org using Wix, and I plan on using it to expand Volksgeist presence as a business, especially since I have a lot of big projects on the way and I intend on working with record labels and managers. Wix lets you create whatever you want, whether you're an amateur musician looking to get into the industry or something more experienced. Their services are secure, comprehensive, and reliable. I personally love how my Wix site turned out. I was able to customize it however I wanted to, and I can't wait to expand my business with the help of Wix. So go check out the link in the description and upgrade your internet presence today.